Okay, thank you for being here. Officer Nick Soley, Bloomfield Township Police Department Public Information Officer. Before we get started, I wanted to do some introductions. We'll have Chief James Gallagher, Bloomfield Township Police Department. With him today is Special Agent in Charge, Ruben Coleman. We have Steve Ingber. He's the CEO of the Jewish Federation Detroit. Chief Dan Roberts from Franklin Police Department, and Under Sheriff Childs from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. The chief is going to speak today. We are going to show some photographs as well as play two 911 tapes. Those tapes and that picture will be available to the media after this conference. I will send it over to anyone that requested it. With that, Chief Gallagher will be the only one taking questions today, I believe. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief Gallagher.
Thanks, Nick. I just want to give a brief synopsis and timeline of what occurred today down at the Jewish Federation building. At about 11:33 a.m. today, the Bloomfield Township Dispatch Center received a 911 call from someone inside the Federation building, indicating that there was a subject outside in their parking lot armed with a firearm. All Bloomfield Township units, plainclothes and uniform patrol units were dispatched to that building. At that time, our first units were on scene by 11:36, and we did have a suspect in custody in possession of what we determined later on to be a pellet gun, but was armed with a firearm at that time by 11:38. So 11:33, the call came in. First officers arrived on scene at 11:36, and the suspect was in custody without incident at 11:38. What I can provide is that the suspect came to the building. He wanted to enter the building for, at this point, an unknown reason. The subject was denied entry, did not have ID. The security personnel at the Federation followed their security protocols within their building and did not allow entry to an unwanted or uninvited guest. He asked if he could retrieve his ID from his car, in which he returned to his car. The subject then walks back to the building, where at the same time encounters a food delivery person who sees a gun in the suspect's waistband as he reapproached the front doors. Simultaneously, a FedEx truck doing a delivery showed up in the parking lot. Our suspect approached that individual, the FedEx driver, and the FedEx driver then sees a gun as well. The FedEx driver attempts to leave the parking lot. The suspect then chases after the vehicle on foot for a short distance before returning back to the building and attempting to pull open the doors of the Federation building. He was unable to gain access again. The Federation activated their emergency protocols inside the building. The building itself, from their standpoint, went into lockdown. The suspect returned to his vehicle, and at that time, he was taken into custody, encountered by our officers, and taken into custody without incident. We did recover the firearm, again, we determined to be a pellet gun after further investigation, but at that time, we did not know. We do have a picture of the firearm. Again, determined to be a pellet gun, but by all intents and purposes, everybody that called us, we ended up getting 5 or 6 911 calls, had every right to believe that this firearm was live and and real at that time. We have a 911 tape that we will play from the initial 2 911 calls. Again, one was from inside the building, as the subject was clearly brandishing the firearm and pointing it at people in the parking lot.
The Federation building. I got a guy with the gun out front. Guy with the gun out front of my building right now.
All right, hang on for me just 1 second.
Ma'am, I got a guy with the gun standing out front of my building right now.
Can you describe him to me?
With a white male, black jacket, black pants, glasses.
Okay. Are your doors locked?
Yes, at the present time, yes.
All right. What kind of gun is it? Is it a long gun?
It looks like a revolver.
Looks like a revolver. Okay, is he pointing it at anything?
No, he's standing outside. There's a female outside with him, but she is not part of him right now. I got people pulling up.
Okay. All right. Okay, sir, we have officers dispatched right now, okay? Let me know if
He's got it in his right hand. It looks like a revolver.
Okay. What color is it?
It's silver.
Okay. Did he come into the building and
He
anything?
came in the building, asked for Jonathan, Block, told him to go back in some ID. Now he's running, he's going where I can't see him from the building. He's off, he's going to
Did he come in a vehicle?
beyond, I can't see his vehicle, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. That's okay. That's okay. Have you seen him before? Has he been in your
No, he's just standing out front of my building. He's got his phone, he's got the gun, his right hand. He's putting it in his jacket. He's coming up to the FedEx guy. He's trying to knock on the FedEx guy's door.
Okay.
Do not let the guy open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Back away from the door. Back away from the door. He's got a ID.
What's up, Township 911? What is the address of your emergency?
It's 1635 Telegraph. No,
35.
1635 Telegraph. The guy with a gun. I'm a FedEx guy. He pointed at me.
Yeah. What's your name?
Okay.
What's your name?
Sorry, Parker. Sorry, Parker.
Maurice, what's your phone number?
My phone number is
Okay, as you can see by the 911 tapes, we have the callers had every right to be in fear of what could take place at that Federation building today. The guests standing behind me today are integral into what we do during these types of investigations and response. Immediately when these types of incidents occur, we are on the phone with our federal partners, our county partners, and our local agencies that surround us that can immediately respond. In this incident, I personally was on the phone within seconds with Chief Dan Roberts, Sheriff Bouchard, and Christine Taylor, who is part of the FBI as well, just providing the information in the event that we did have some type of planned attack or something at that time. I will tell you right now, we are confident this was a it was a non-anti-Semitic, it was not an anti-Semitic incident. We are confident that the individual we have in custody has mental health concerns. However, this investigation is still very early, and we will present all of our findings to the prosecutor's office when we can, and the investigation is deemed to be in a successful place to do that. All of our agencies will take these incidents serious. We will respond as one when this happens. And again, we had Franklin PD, Bloomfield Township Fire Department, West Bloomfield Police Department, and the Birmingham Police Department that all began to respond to this incident. Luckily, within 5 minutes, we had this subject into custody and there was no injuries. But I do want to stress again, this had nothing to do with any of the crises going on in the world today, and we are confident on that. So with that, I can take, I'm sorry, Steve?
So on behalf of the Federation of Detroit, I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Chief, to the Bloomfield Township Police Department, and for their swift response today. We feel very fortunate for the strong relationships we hold with them, as well as with our many law enforcement partners, as you can see behind us. I also want to recognize and commend our officers of the Jewish Community Security Team for their skillful efforts in managing this situation. In closing, I'd really like to thank our local community for the support and concern we've received. We're very grateful this incident has been safely resolved. And again, I thank you, and I thank all of you guys.
And I would just like to dispel a couple of rumors that were on social media early on, and one of the reasons why we felt it was so important to get in front of this rather quickly. We did not have shots fired from a real firearm during this incident, and there was no injuries as a result of anything that occurred there today. We did see and hear some rumors and received several phone calls stating differently, but we want to reiterate that that did not happen, and we are confident this is not some form of hate crime. So with that, I'll take any questions.
The gun there, you said is not a real. It's not a 22 caliber or whatever. It's not an airsoft gun. It's a pellet gun.
It's a pellet gun, correct?
But do pellet guns usually have a way of making you know that they're not a real gun? That looks pretty convincing to me.
It's very convincing, and any officer or any person who would see that firearm would perceive that as a threat. And should it have an orange tip? I don't know if it's been altered or not. That's something we'll get into in our investigation. Many of the airsoft style guns do have orange tips, but not every pellet gun or BB gun is required to have an orange tip. So coming onto that scene, our officers we're fully prepared to encounter an armed individual with a real handgun.
Has security around that building been extra precautious or doubled, or I've gone to that building before myself, and is it always a buzz to get in type of building?
It always is. And I want to reiterate, especially Bloomfield Township, but again, as our partners across Metro Detroit that we constantly speak to, there was actually a chief's meeting today that I immediately called Chief Roberts on, and he was able to share that information with several other police chiefs in real time, knowing that something was going on. And so that we all, during this time, provide extra patrols to any religious institution, to any groups of people when we know there's conflict and fear within our communities. And again, I talk about we're Bloomfield Township, but we become one community when something of this magnitude could occur or does occur.
Is there charges forthcoming for this individual?
Well, we'll present all the information and gather the facts. We are really early still in this investigation to determine a motive, why, what the plans were here. However, we'll release that information when we can. Unfortunately, we can't release anybody's name until it's processed through the court system. But one person is in custody.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for coming.